I once promised Gu Jiuyuan that I would create an opportunity for him to stand openly before His Majesty. As for whether he could seize that opportunity, that would depend entirely on himself. Days quietly passed, then months. Every day, I continued chanting sutras inside the Buddhist hall of Shaokang Palace, and every night, within the hidden backyard of my family estate, Gu Jiuyuan practiced swordsmanship beneath flickering lamplight. Year after year trapped inside the neglected palace, he had already become familiar with military strategy and warfare. What he lacked was a true master, and what my family possessed most were masters. Night after night, the lamp inside the study burned deep into the third watch. My grandfather and Gu Jiuyuan would stand over the military sandbox together, moving tiny banners across imaginary battlefields. One old, one young, one carrying decades of experience, one carrying years of buried hatred. As time passed, Gu Jiuyuan became sharper with each passing day, more composed, more dangerous, but my grandfather seemed to age little by little before my eyes, as though he was burning away the last of his life to raise someone toward greatness. Sometimes, unable to bear seeing him exhausted, I would force them to extinguish the lamps early. Gu Jiuyuan would lower his gaze with guilt, but grandfather merely laughed. "It's fine." The early summer night breeze still carried traces of spring coldness, and that evening, perhaps I imagined it, I thought I heard my grandfather sigh softly. "I wonder how much longer I can stay beside you children." That year, I was 15, and there were only 7 months left before the disaster that destroyed my family in my previous life. One day, just as I stepped out from the Buddhist hall, the female physician hurried toward me in panic. "Consort Lin's condition is worsening. She's relying entirely on strong medicine just to stay alive, and the 5th prince is nowhere to be found. Miss Song, would you like to go see her?" Ever since falling gravely ill that winter, Consort Lin had struggled for nearly half a year. But when I entered the chamber this time, her eyes were surprisingly clear. She looked at me quietly, then smiled faintly. "You are the granddaughter of the Marquis of Zhongyang, Song Ruo Ci, aren't you?" Her thin hand slowly reached up, gently touching my cheek. "You resemble your mother so much." Only then did I learn the truth. My mother, Consort Lin, and Aunt Lan Ting had once been the closest of childhood friends, and in that instant, I suddenly understood many things. Why the mother and son of Jiuyuan Palace, despite years of neglect, had somehow survived until now. Why my connection with Jiuyuan Palace had never leaked to the outside world. "Your mother and I both loved swords and horseback riding," Consort Lin said softly, "while Lan Ting was always the clever strategist among us. Later, I entered the palace, and your mother followed your father to guard the borders. You cannot imagine how much I envied her." Her gaze drifted into the distance. "Later, my family achieved great military merit. His Majesty favored me deeply. At the time, I believed I was fortunate. I had glory, I had love, but I never expected that the imperial family could be so cold-hearted, nor that men could be even crueler." A bitter smile appeared on her lips. He clearly knew the Astronomical Bureau's prophecy was fabricated. He knew someone framed me, and yet, he still used that excuse to destroy my entire family. The woman lying upon the bed seemed to return completely to the past. Love, hatred, regret, all resurfacing together. But listening to her voice like someone leaving behind final words filled me with fear. I could only hold her hand tightly. "Things will improve, Your Highness," I whispered quickly. "The 5th prince is growing stronger every day. If he's given even one opportunity, he will surely." But Consort Lin interrupted me gently. "It was I who ruined him." I froze at that moment. Hurried footsteps echoed from outside. The next second, Gu Jiuyuan rushed into the room, his robes covered in dust from traveling too quickly. Consort Lin looked at her son quietly, then spoke softly. "I was selfish. I never dared tell you the truth. You always believed you were cursed, that you brought suffering upon me, but actually, it was all my fault." Gu Jiuyuan said nothing. He simply dropped heavily to his knees beside the bed. I had never seen him so panicked before. Consort Lin slowly reached up, gently stroking his hair. My son should have possessed a boundless future, yet instead, he suffered beside me inside this abandoned palace for 17 years. Blame me for loving the wrong man, blame me for losing within the harem struggles. I once rode freely across battlefields in my youth, but my son never had that freedom. Her smile trembled, then tears slowly filled her eyes. She reached for my hand again, not as a noble consort, not as a general, only as a mother begging for her child. Ruo Ci, Miss Song, my body is ruined, but I know you are a kind-hearted girl. My son has no one left to rely on, since you have treated him well. Even beneath the yellow springs, I will repay your kindness. A tear slowly rolled down her aged cheek. Her gaze gradually lost focus, yet stubbornly she refused to close her eyes. I gripped her hand desperately. I will, I promise I will, I definitely will. In early summer, young lotus leaves had only just begun to bloom. Once upon a time, Jiuyuan Palace welcomed a female general, a woman who possessed vast borders, sharp weapons, and the freedom of the open battlefield. Yet in the end, she became trapped for life within the cages of the imperial harem. She lost everything, and all she left behind was a stubborn son. That child was 17 this year. His shoulders were still like young green bamboo, not yet fully grown. But as he slowly closed his mother's eyes, the darkness surrounding him felt like a blade forged through endless suffering. He did not cry, not even once, so instead, I cried for him again and again, until finally Jiuyuan pulled me gently into his embrace and whispered softly, "Don't cry." It was the first time he had ever held me, yet strangely, it felt as though we had embraced each other across countless lifetimes already, and still even then I could not fully understand how much pain was hidden beneath his quiet breathing.